Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is May 6, 2024, and Barcelona have reached a verbal agreement with Guido Rodriguez. Also, the club have begun negotiations to extend the contract of Barcelona's future pivot. And finally, Atletico de Madrid are now considering or not ruling out the return of Joao Felix. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and before we begin with the news, just a quick reminder to make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. All of this helps this channel continue to grow. Also, if you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure you hit the kit bag, and if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you head to Bet Us. Both links for kit bag and Bet Us are down below in the description, and if you click on them, not only would you be supporting the channel, but also you do get some access to some pretty cool deals and offers. Now begin with the news that Barcelona have reached a verbal agreement with Guido Rodriguez. Now the Argentinian defensive midfielder who currently plays for Real Betis, his contract expires during this summer and he is set to leave Real Betis as a free agent. And even though Guido Rodriguez had reached an initial agreement to join Atletico Madrid this summer, after Barcelona expressed interest in him, Guido Rodriguez, through his representatives, met with the club and let the club know that if Barcelona are interested in signing him, that he would prefer to join Barcelona over Real Betis. Now, this was a news that I shared with you in a previous video where Guido Rodriguez informed Barcelona of his interest or his preference to join the club over the Madrid-based club. But now the new news is that Barcelona have reached a verbal agreement with Guido Rodriguez for the Argentine to join Barcelona during this summer transfer market as the first Barcelona signing during this summer. Now, as I reported in a previous video, Guido Rodriguez will not be Barcelona's main signing for that pivot position. He is more of a signing to kind of reinforce the club or be kind of that substitute to the pivot, whoever is going to be, because Barcelona will still be looking for a world-class pivot, someone like Martin Zubimendi or Joshua Kimmich. So don't be afraid. Just because Barcelona are set to sign Guido Rodriguez, it doesn't mean that they will stop their search for a world-class pivot. Now, the one who's been in charge of advancing or fulfilling this signing has been Deco. However, Guido Rodriguez is not Deco's signing. This is a request by Xavi Hernandez, who had already requested that Barcelona sign Guido Rodriguez last summer. And it seems that Xavi has requested Guido Rodriguez once again during the season after he agreed to stay as Barcelona's manager. And Deco has been the one in charge of making sure that this signing goes all the way through. Now, I am curious to hear about you guys' thoughts. What do you think about Barcelona signing Guido Rodriguez? Let me know down below. And speaking of pivots, Barcelona have began negotiations to extend the contract of who they consider as the future pivot of the club, which is Marc Bernal. Now, the 16-year-old pivot is someone who is showing a lot of promise in Barcelona's academy. And as I reported in a previous video, Barcelona considered that Marc Bernal will be the club's future pivot. And in fact, Xavi Hernandez has already recommended that Barcelona keep an eye on him and promote him in the future because he is showing a lot of promise, a lot more promise than Marc Casado, the Barca Athletic captain, and even Pau Prim, the other pivot who's currently in the academy, who's also showing promise. And Barcelona are so happy with Marc Bernal's performance that they want to ensure that he remains at the club. And even though his contract does expire in the summer of 2026, Barcelona want to extend the contract past its expiration date. They have already began negotiation with Marc Bernal to extend his contract by one more year with an option to add 2 more, which is kind of the standard practice with youngsters who are in the academy. Because as you might recall from previous deals, under the rules, you cannot give a long contract to any players who are under the age of 18. Now, Marc Bernal currently has a release clause worth around 7 million euros, which it is low for a player with such potential as his. And in fact, Citigroup, which are the group that own Manchester City and other clubs like Girona, have been circling, watching, and tracking what's going on with Marc Bernal, interested in signing him. And this is why Barcelona want to extend the contract of the player. They want to make sure to shield him from other interests. They want to tie him down because, again, the club consider that Marc Bernal will be Barcelona's future pivot. Now, both parties have already began talks, and even though no agreement has been reached yet, Barcelona are reporting that the initial talks have been positive, where not only Barcelona want to keep Bernal, but Bernal is also expressing his excitement and willingness to stay with Barcelona. And speaking of players staying and not staying in Barcelona, we'll end today's video with news about Joao Felix, because now it's being reported that Atletico Madrid are not ruling out the return of the Portuguese player. Now, Joao Felix is currently on loan with Barcelona with no option or obligation to buy, and even though Barcelona had initially considered extending the loan of Joao Felix, it seems that Barcelona are now having second thoughts, given that the Portuguese player has not been fulfilling his expectations at the club, the expectations of a Joan Laporta, who insisted on his signing because Joan Laporta has always been a huge fan of the Portuguese player. Now, Atletico Madrid were initially determined on offloading Joao Felix on a permanent basis because Simeone does not count on the player. However, now they have changed their mind, or they have had a change of heart, where Atletico Madrid are now not ruling out the return of Joao Felix. Now, the reason for this is that Atletico Madrid consider that offloading Joao Felix on a permanent basis will be difficult, especially to Barcelona, given the tight financial situation of the club. And also they consider that offloading Joao Felix will be difficult because he has lost a lot of market value, especially at Barcelona, where he has shown that he does not have what it takes to succeed at a big club. And as such, Atletico Madrid are now realizing that it's going to be very difficult to find a club who will be willing to pay the 60 million euros that they're currently asking for Joao Felix. And as such, they are now not ruling out a return of Joao Felix. Now, Barcelona initially wanted to extend the contract of Joao Felix. We'll see what will happen this summer. But given his very poor performances, I don't see this happening. So we're going to have to wait and see. But again, I expect that Joao Felix will be returning to Atletico Madrid, as it should be, because as I've said many times before, Barcelona cannot afford players who can only show up 2 or 3 games a season. We need more consistent players. And there's one thing that Joao Felix has shown us, is that he is not consistent. So that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like. Also, I would like to invite all of you to please leave a comment down below, giving me all your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. And finally, I would like to invite all of you to please subscribe to the channel so you can stay current on all the latest news in regards to our beloved club, FC Barcelona. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. And as always, Visca Barça.